Welcome. I'm Alice Alicia Jones, and this is another one of my Living Consciously videos that I welcome you to. I've changed the angle of my room just a little bit. I was hoping that I could go outside today on the porch because it's so lush out there, but the rain has made it just a little bit untenable. And so I will probably have my next series on the porch as long as I'm in town. And because there are a few that I will be out of town and I will be broadcasting from both New York and from Nashville. Uh, for today, we're going to continue past lives. And as I always do, I teach from my experience. The Today's topic is past life triggers. And there are 11 of them that I have experienced myself. So I'm going to share those with you and all those people that come on later. I seem to have a lot of people who see these videos much later than they don't see the live stream. They just view it later. But past lives is something that, for whatever reason, the church fathers or the fundamentalist religions really do not want you to have any understanding of. They seem to decry the fact that there are past lives. At least in my Polish Catholic tradition, we were told we had one chance to get it right. If we didn't do it in this one chance, we would be condemned to hell forever. Or even worse, go to a place of purgatory where the sense was that there was something else there. Um, I am going to bring you just a little bit of a different take on that. This has nothing to do with religion. This Anything that I talk about is really a God of oneness, a God of unity, a God of mercy, a God of love, and certainly a God of understanding. And so the whole purpose of the talks that I give is just to broaden your understanding of what is out there, just as my understanding had to be broadened. I had to go from a really cocooned, fundamentalist Polish Catholic upbringing to one where I could accept many, many things that I never was able to accept before. But let's start in on the triggers. And as I have always done, I will speak from my personal experience. The first trigger that is out there that can bring a past life to the forefront for you is a highly charged emotional experience. And in my case, that was a Christmas outing that I had with a group of friends, and we were doing a thing called Yankee Trader. And in the process of trading these gifts and stealing them and taking them back and evaluating, I discovered that there was one gift that had come to the forefront and had been opened, and I absolutely coveted it, and that was an angel. And I work very closely with the angels. I have hundreds of them in my home, and as well as fairies. And because you can see an example of the four archangels behind me. So I looked at this angel and I just absolutely coveted it. And the group of people, some of them got on their high horse and decided that under no circumstance was I going to get that angel. And so the gal who had number one, who was the last one to choose, as it turned out, I had the angel as the thing, but the gal who had number one, she was the related to the hostess, and she and a couple other friends kept prodding her at a very intensely prodding her to steal the angel, steal the angel, steal the angel. And as they were doing that, because it was loud, it was raucous, all of a sudden that totally disappeared for me. And I heard the words, crucify him, crucify him, crucify him. And I was taken back to a place in during the Roman times. I don't know. This was after Christ uh, had resurrected. I was a Christian, and I was taken to a place where I was going to be judged, and my sentence was to be crucified. So I walked out of that outing. I ended up not getting the angel, but afterwards, four of my dear friends went to the same store where the angel was purchased, and one was successful in getting me one. So I ultimately do have it. Forgot to bring it here, but maybe next time, if I'm still continuing on past lives, I'll bring it to show it to you. Um, but I, as a result of that experience, I got the biggest headache I've ever had in my life. I mean, if I don't know what a migraine feels like, I've never had a migraine, but if that was probably the closest to a migraine that I've ever had. And so I knew that just the process of them like screaming out their preferences to me, and that could that kind of trigger could be anywhere. It could be at a baseball game. You could be rooting for your team, and something there, maybe a member of the other side roots for their team, and something triggers it for you. So, a highly emotionally charged experience can bring forth a past life. Trigger number one. Trigger number two. Uh, this I'm just doing them in the way that they came in for me. Attunement. When I was being attuned to Reiki 3 by my first Reiki 3 teacher, because I had a second one. And the second one, the attunement, there was absolutely nothing special that happened. But in the first Reiki 3 attunement that I had, all of a sudden, as she is signing my hands, I lose vision of everything in the room, and I am suddenly in front of Anubis. He's the Egyptian god. He has the head of a jackal, the body of a man. I am in front of him. I can feel the coolness of the temple. I can see him completely sitting in front of me. I look up at the pillars and that are there, and for about 15 seconds, I am completely transported to Egypt, and I see it, I feel it, I can actually taste the moisture in the air. And so that lasted long enough for me to absolutely understand this was not a dream, this was not a passing vision, this was real. I was transported to a time and place where I was an Egyptian initiate, and I did not look at myself. I did not look down to see if I was male or female. Um, all I know is that as I looked out, I had this experience. And the next one is very similar, but a little bit different. So this is trigger number three, a vision. And again, highly in trigger number two, There was no emotion. I had 0 type of expectation. I did not think that there was anything special that was going to happen, but, it did. But in trigger number 3, um, it involved my husband, and he was very, very threatened by the fact that I had signed up to become part of a nationally known company. And before, we had always just worked together in our itty bitty little company. And I just wanted the experience of working for a nationally known company. And so, what he did is he raced into the bedroom, grabbed a suitcase, and raced around the room, putting clothes in that suitcase. He has no memory of this at all. And as I'm watching him do this, and of course, yes, is this emotionally charged? Totally. Because it's not the fear that he's going to leave me, because that's what he wanted me to understand or to think. It was strictly the his trying to control my actions, and I have this horrendous need not to be controlled. I raised 2 children that have exactly the same need. They follow their own path. They do not wanna be controlled, and so that triggered a vision of him, and I knew positively that as I looked at that vision, what it showed me that he was a thief in the 18th century, and I was from a higher, much higher class, and I saw myself as a young adult, very beautifully dressed, and he was dirty and hungry and very skinny, very poor, could have probably just was always undernourished. And he must have spotted me at some point and then just wanted to be part of my life. But the only part that he was part of is the fact that he could attempt to steal from my family. So that explained certain characteristics about him that I never understood before, because he was such an honorable, honest person, and so I felt it showed, um, the that qualities that he had developed in other lives that really took that ability to make a living by stealing from someone, um, go far beyond him. So anyway, that was a vision, and I just saw him embraced in a sheet of light, and again, inside my head, I knew the story. It was like downloaded into me, and this is very similar to the way I get the stories of past lives of the clients that come to me. It's just a download. Once in a while, I get a very clear vision, like a movie screen opens up, but most of the time, it's like a thought package. It's the only way I can explain it. Um, Not so much words, it's just a whole story that's given to me at one time. The next one, I do want to cover at least 6 of these before I finish. But I don't want to shortchange you, because some of you are studying to be hypnotherapists. And in this case, the 2 people whose uh, place we met at for the A Course in Miracles, to study A Course in Miracles, were Elmer and Margaret Strait, and they have now moved to North Carolina. But while they were here in Virginia, in Woodbridge or Lake Ridge, they had a place called the Inner Light Hypnosis Center. and they were both trained regressive hypnotherapists. So I had an experience with both of them. Their fees were pretty expensive. It was $300. It was a 2-hour session. Could have been 3-hour session, but anyways, so I had a session with Elmer first, then I had a session with Margaret, and the beauty was that the very first thing, as soon as Elmer put me under, the very first thing I saw is I see myself drowning. I see myself as a a man with a long beard, and the beard obviously is floating up because I'm in the water and I'm drowning. And as I look at myself, this drowning, I understand where my fear of water came from because I've had a horrendous fear of water in this lifetime. If I jump into a pool, I literally have to be able to touch the edge of the pool in order for me to swim across it. I have never dove into a pool. I don't like the feel of water on my face. Even in the shower, I'm not crazy about water coming down on me. I just uh, don't like it. And so I knew that that's where it came from. But then I get the background, then I get the backstory. I see myself on the deck, and here is one of the sailors who is arguing with me, and he is accusing me of stealing money from him. I know I didn't do it, but no matter what I say to him, he does not believe me. And so he stabs me and then pushes me overboard. And so in drowning, I am uh, I because of the stab wound, I there was nothing I could do to to help myself. I just watch myself go down into the water. And when I look into the face of the person who did that, it is my brother in this lifetime. And I know that I have been many things to my brother. I have hurt him, he has hurt me. I have hurt him, he has hurt me. So effectively, that was the first one that the very first time that I saw a life where that explained some of the aggression that I may have felt towards my brother and the lack of uh, kindliness, I guess is the only word that comes to my mind. Um, so, and just feeling like I want to be at arm's length from him. So, anyway, that was through regressive hypnotherapy. I got a total of 4 lives in one from one person and 4 lives from another, which again explained parts of my personality, including the fact that in one of my lifetimes, when I saw the person come up the stairs from the face, there was only light. There was nothing but light. So, whether I was a member of a planetary system that where the beings were pure light, whether whatever I saw, I know that it was not of this dimension. So, and there are, you do incarnate in other dimensions. You do incarnate as a being from other places. So there is nothing unusual about that. You do incarnate from the angelic realm. You do incarnate from the Deva kingdom. Some of you have been fairies. I've never felt I've been a fairy, but I have a tremendous affinity for them. But I have felt that I could have had a sojourn through the angelic realm. There were times where people would look at a picture of me and they would just basically say at different stages in my life, and they would say, "You look just like an angel." So that was very lovely to hear. But again, all of us have a sojourn through the angelic realm because there is a part of us that is angelic. And that's the part of us that will always be able to touch into the highest parts of our being. So please don't be hard on yourself and don't think that, oh my God, I'm just bragging if I feel I'm angelic. No, that's that's the ego, and that's the ego of other people. So don't feel that you have to be led like a bull through a ring through your nose by other people's ego. You do not. So please just accept that as uh, as a possibility for yourself. Then the one that is the most common is dreams. The fact that you have a dream and it feels so real to you. It feels as if you were there. And those dreams I call dimensional dreams. I actually feel that you are there. And I will explain this a little bit further when we talk about the evolution of the soul, which is one of my talks that's coming up this year. The the way that the soul evolves. So I know that even though uh, the dreams reveal other places to you, and a lot of times people will say, uh, that and right in keeping with this same theme is déjà vu, a feeling of déjà vu, which is another one. You come someplace that you've never been before, can be overseas, could be a part of the United States, could be a a part of your county that you've never been in your own state, and all of a sudden everything feels familiar to you, absolutely everything. And so that's to me, you are triggering a memory from a past life. So I feel the best example I have of that for myself is when I was in Mystic um, in Connecticut, which is right next to Gloucester. I kept looking around and I kept thinking, I've been here. I've known these places. I've seen this place, and come to find out that there is a movie called Mystic Pizza that introduced some of our major stars. So I guess about three or four of them, and you might just feel might be interested in getting them, in renting it. Mystic Pizza, and it's Mystic. So just know that when you have that sense of deja vu, no matter where you are, you feel that you've been there before. Know that you have. I know when I stepped into Chester, England, through the gate that there's 4 gates apparently in Chester, all directions: East Gate, West Gate, North Gate, South Gate, and we drove through the East Gate. Every place that I looked made me happy. Everything just overjoyed me, and I kept thinking, what is it? What is it about this place that makes me so happy? So when we came home, I just went into prayer and meditation, which is another way of bringing forth a past life. And but I specifically asked the question, what who was I in Chester, England? And then I'm given a scene where I'm being shown that I'm a dressmaker, and I have a very it's it's not an impoverished life. It's not a wealthy life. It's a very satisfied life. I'm a dressmaker and I embellish hats. And many wealthy patrons come to me because of the fact that they absolutely love my artistry. And I carry that same artistry today. And so I can paint. I can put things together in a harmonious manner. I can do wreaths. Start with just a bunch of flowers and put a wreath together. Put a table arrangement together, and so I absolutely have that decorator's eye and everything. And it came from my lifetime in Chester. But all I can tell you is that everywhere I went, everywhere I looked, I was happy. And you may find that you have exactly the same experience. Um, and it could be in Native American. Another time when I had that same kind of sensation was when I was at the Grand Canyon. And not only was my Grand Canyon experience fabulous, but I didn't get a picture of it exactly the way I saw it because I was still on the tram. We were coming across and I didn't snap fast enough. But as we were on the tram, there was a pillar in the middle of that one of our stops. And right at the end of that was the end of a rainbow, right in that. And I thought, oh my God, if I've ever seen a pot of gold. But that again, there was so much joy. And the second time that I saw the Grand Canyon, our tour group happened to arrive. This was with Road Scholar. We happened to arrive at sunset, and there was the most magnificent display of light against the rocks at that could be seen from where we were having supper that evening. And even the people that work there said they had never seen a more magnificent display of sunlight than they did that day. And I do have a ton of pictures of that. So please know that anything like this that just raises so much joy in you and so much happiness. And now, thank God, we are able to travel again. And so I encourage you, just go someplace, even if it's to a local park. We have Great Falls, and both visible from the Virginia side and the Maryland side. And that's another place that where when I go there, I just feel an incredible amount of joy. So just monitor your feelings, see how you feel, and follow through with prayers and meditations, and follow through and ask to be shown a lifetime that you were there. Now, I'm almost at 30 minutes, so I'm going to have to stop. I thank you for watching. I thank you for being here, and I'll continue with this until we finish the remaining 11 next week. I am so happy you're here, and bless you, and we'll see you in a week. Thank you.